Hello everyone and welcome to DevCast. In this video we are going to have a look at how you can install WordPress locally in your machine and work with developing your website locally in your own machine. So one of the reasons why generally people prefer developing their websites locally is because they get a lot of flexibility while developing their websites locally. They can experiment with the design, they can experiment with the code, they can experiment with the plugins. So these kind of things you cannot do in the live server until and unless you have a practice live server available. But if you are not having that, if you are doing it in the real hosting plan of yours and you're developing your website for the client, you are not that much free to experiment with the design of the website. If you are also a beginner, then you know developing a WordPress website locally would be a good practice, because once you have obtained some sort of knowledge related to WordPress, you can practice WordPress in the live server. But if you are a beginner, I would rather suggest that you go for developing your website locally, so that you can deal with all the issues that crops up while developing a website in WordPress locally, and you do not have to cope with them. But if you have a practice live server already available, then you can go for it. So today we are going to have a look at how we can install WordPress locally in our own machine and work upon it. So for that purpose, we will have to write over here download WordPress. And if you search for this thing, the first link that will show up is this download from wordpress.org. Now you'll have to click on this particular link, and if you will scroll down a little bit, you will be able to see this download and install it yourself option. Just click on this and the file would be downloaded. So I have this already downloaded over here, and if you unzip it, just click on, after downloading, it will be downloaded in the form of a zip file, by the way. So once it is downloaded in the form of a zip file, you will have to unzip it. After you unzip it, you will be able to see this folder. Inside the folder you will be able to find this WordPress folder, and inside this WordPress folder you will get most of the uh, goodies that WordPress requires to work properly. So what you will have to do is you will have to take this thing, and one more thing that you will have to do is install XAMPP. So XAMPP is basically a local server that you will have to install in your machine, because WordPress is server dependent. It cannot work like a plain .html file that is coupled with CSS and JS and it just works. So it's not like that. It will be in need of a server in order to work. So it will need a local machine, and the best local machine out there would be a XAMPP uh, machine. Okay, so if you go to this, if you just search for XAMPP in Google, you will come to this particular link, and just click on this download option. You will be able to see a lot of download options from here. And if you are a Windows user, you are supposed to download your XAMPP from here. If you are a Linux user, you're supposed to download your WordPress, you're supposed to download your XAMPP server from here. Otherwise, if you're a Mac OS X user, then obviously you are supposed to uh, download it from here. Now here you will be able to see the 64-bit version, and also there are variations in versions. These are all updated versions of PHP, so you can download the updated XAMPP, the updated XAMPP for your Windows, or the uh, the particular XAMPP version that most of the people download, like 8.0 or 8.1. So that would be your choice, but I would always suggest that go for the current version of XAMPP, because that would be a better option. The previous versions of XAMPP may show up some problems when you are working with WordPress, because again this compatibility issue does exist. So from here you are supposed to click on this download 64-bit, and it shall start automatically. The download shall start automatically. So it is supposed to start, but if it doesn't start, then you will have to, yes, it started. So I'm not going to download this because XAMPP has already been downloaded in my laptop, in my machine. So what I'm going to do is I am supposed to look for XAMPP. So after you have downloaded XAMPP, you need to install XAMPP also. It's not that difficult in installing a XAMPP. Once you have downloaded this particular .exe file, just click on it and just follow the installation procedure, and XAMPP would be installed right away in your machine, and you won't face any kind of problem. The procedure is really simple. You do not have to uh, you know, bother about it. Just you will have to click on next, and the installation would be completed. So after you have installed XAMPP, you will need to look for the XAMPP control panel. So I have the XAMPP control panel already. So I am going to run it as an administrator. It is always good to run a XAMPP control panel as an administrator. Okay. So this is your regular XAMPP control panel. Now the real fun starts. So what you will have to do is this, that the WordPress 6.2 that we previously downloaded uh, and we unzipped, from here you are supposed to take this WordPress folder, just copy this, and you are supposed to take this WordPress folder right inside your right inside the place where your XAMPP is installed. Now where is your XAMPP generally installed? You will be able to find your XAMPP inside your regular program installations, which is in the C drive. And in the C drive, if you look for the XAMPP, here you will be able to find it. And inside this ht docs, inside this particular XAMPP folder, you will find many other folders, but from these folders you will have to locate the htdocs folder, and just click on this htdocs folder and just paste this WordPress folder over here that we copied from the WordPress 6.2. Now I'm just going to rename this as my new website. Once it gets copied, I will just rename it to my new website. So my new web, I'm going to rename it as. Okay. So now after you have done this, no need to be excited at the moment, because if you perform the installation after this, it just won't work. Okay, so what you will have to do, you will have to go to php myadmin. For that you will have to start this XAMPP control panel. How you are supposed to start it? You are supposed to start two servers, two services over here, which is the Apache, and another would be MySQL. These are the two servers, these are the two services you are supposed to start. And once you have started them, you will be able to, you need to come to the browser over here. So before starting up with the installation process of WordPress in the local server, it is very much necessary to create a database. So for that we will have to go to localhost 8080 slash php myadmin. In your case, however, you may not have to type this localhost 8080 and then the php myadmin. So PHP MyAdmin actually provides you with access to the databases that needs to be created. So for our own website, which is my new web in our case, this PC, XAMPP, and then we have kept our folder over here which is known as my new web. So this will become the name of your website, by the way. So whatever you will name this folder as, so this is the folder we copied over here from the file that we extracted from the WordPress 6.2, and this was previously named as WordPress. We renamed it as my new web. So whatever will be your website that you want to, whatever will be the name of your website you would want to create in the local server, this should be this should be the name. You should rename the folder accordingly. Okay, so that's the drill, obviously. So in my case, as you if I now opt for this one, like localhost 8080, and then the name of the folder, it will take me right away to the, I think its name is my new web. My new, yes, it's my new web. So if I type in this particular address in the local server, what it will do is it will take me right away to the installation part of WordPress, as you can see. So if you try to install the WordPress in this way without creating any database over here in PHP MyAdmin, you will not be able to install your WordPress in the local server. So for that purpose we need to create our database first, because in this installation procedure you are going to be asked about what the database name is, what is going to be the username and the password, everything else. And so for that purpose we will have to create a database over here. But in case of live server this is not the case. You do not need to create any database as such. Whenever you are performing any fresh installation in a live server in of WordPress, you will not be required to create any database in the live server, as they will create it all as it will be automatically created all by itself, and the installation process will begin. But in case of uh, local machine you will have to do that. Okay, so let's just cancel this. We do not want to opt for installation at the moment. First we need to create a database. So let's name this database as my new web db, my new web db, or we can name this as because this looks a really massive name, so webdb. We are going to name this as webdb, and let's copy the name, keep it copied over here, and just go to create. Okay, so as soon as you will go to create, you will be able to create a database. Now you no longer need to create anything over here. WordPress will do things automatically all by itself. Now all you were required to do was to create a database. So you will have to go to new and create a new database. As you can see, a database has already been created with the name webdb, which I created right now. So now we can begin with the installation process with localhost 8080, not PHP myadmin this time, slash my new web. So we have it over here. So now if we continue with the installation procedure, the installation shall begin. So you can choose any language from here you want, but I will suggest to opt for English United States or English India. Probably do not go for Bangla or Hindi options, because there will be a variety of problems that you will face if you are changing the language of WordPress console. Okay, so do not opt for any other language, just go for English and then keep press continue. Now it will tell you that the following items are going to be required in order to install WordPress in your local machine. Now what are these going to be? The database name, database username, the database password. Like I've already told you that you're going to need a database created first hand in order to install WordPress in a local machine. So that's what it is. Here it has been said that you will be requiring these things in order to install WordPress. Okay, now just click on let's go. So now it is asking for the DB name. DB name was WebDB, and in case of your local machine, the username is always root by default. If you have not changed it, then this is going to be your default username. Password, there isn't any password in your local machine, so you won't be requiring any password in any way. You would just be requiring the username. Okay, and the database name we have entered over here. Also we have entered the username. Keep the password blank, and then the database host is going to be localhost, and the table prefix is going to be this. So everything is okay at the moment. We do not you should be able to get this info from your web host if localhost does not work. It's okay. So we're going to submit this particular data and work upon it. So as you can see, now it is going to tell us that if we want to run the installation. So yes, we are going to run the installation. So now they are going to ask me for a web title. We are going to name this as my new web and the username we will have to so this is the process. If you have watched my previous video, you have seen this. When we were installing WordPress in the live server, they were asking for an admin username and an admin password. So this is the username and the password that we will have to create over here, otherwise we won't be able to access the WordPress backend. uh, the backend in the sense which I have shown you in the previous video in the live server version, which we access by the URL wp dash admin. So that particular backend you won't be able to access without this credentials. At the moment I am going to set the username as admin, and then the password is going to be, I am going to set it as admin 123. Okay, and then confirm use of weak password. Because I'm using a weak password, therefore it's showing me this particular option. So since we are using this or installing this in the local machine, we do not have to you know opt for this opt for a very critical password. There is it's not required. And for the email address, you can put any email address, won't be an issue. So I will put any email address I will deem fit. Because this is a local machine, it is not that sensitive to the email address like anything like this. Although this is not my genuine email address. And then search engine visibility, you can discourage the search engine from indexing this site, because there is not it's not required to for the search engines to index this sort of site which is existing in your local machine. Then you can opt for install WordPress. So if everything is okay, WordPress is going to be installed. Okay, so now my WordPress has been installed. Never. So let's just go for login. So as you can see, this is the back end of the of the WP admin. But first we need to see what our website actually looks like. Now if we click on localhost 8083, you will see that installation won't begin, rather a web page will be available. So now we have successfully installed WordPress. And if we log in over here in the back end, admin 123, we will be able to access the back end of this my new web. So as you can see, we are being able to access the back end of our WordPress. So this is how you will be able to install WordPress in your local machine. So if you do like this video, please drop in your likes down below, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.